And you
That's what we gotta be.
and and,
Yeah.
and the thing is that the I'm ready.
Welcome, B.
I'm ready. They got me excited. Everybody who spoke before me, amazing, 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 amazing job. Really appreciate the information. And I got to say, I'm real fond of storytelling. I wish I was a storyteller.
You on
so,
mute. You on mute.
I'm real fond of storytelling, especially when telling knowledge, because that's how our transmissions was passed down through storytelling. So when Thomas McCain used the analogy of the pie, I love that story. It serves, man. It serves. Get me excited. So I'm a little bit excited. For those on Facebook, you don't know, but you're welcome to join us. Just tap in at joinnobletemples@gmail.com. And you can hear the story about the pie and different ingredients. It ain't Big Mama pie if you put different ingredients in it. And with that being said, I like to rise and give praise to the great God of the universe of law. I give honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and for the sake of time, because this is a timely chapter, I want to give honor to everything Moorish. I want to give honor to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, affectionately known and styled as, and also feared as noble temples. The devil fears the noble temples. I'm trying to tell you. The lower self fears the noble temple because the noble temple exemplifies the teachings of the noble prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And we're not going to have it any other way. Now, at times, people can mistake putting out truth as being an antagonist. But we already know the lesson of that we don't want no earthly throne. We don't want positions that's already held that haven't produced much anyway. What we want is Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings on the throne so we all can walk forward and progress ourselves as a group of people, as a spiritual people, as a nation of people. We want the teachings on the throne. No individual, only the teachings on the throne. And if the teachings come through an individual that can help us put the teachers on the throne, then honor to that individual. That's where it starts, that's where it ends, and we move on to the next individual or the collective to put these teachers on the throne. Because for far too long, these teachers have been in the back pocket of people. What they did with these teachers, I'm trying to tell you, they folded up the Quran and stuffed it in the back pocket. And whenever they was in trouble, they go jail, they pull it out. They get their heart broke, they pull it out. They in distress, they pull it out. And I'm telling you, I did it too, and it helped me. But I'm going to tell you, pull it out as twice as much when everything is doing good, and watch how it unfolds to you. Just pull out twice as much. In this chapter today, family, on Facebook, we about to get in it. In this chapter today, chapter 9. Oh, let me say, on Facebook, if you don't know in the meeting, I named this, How Can You Trust a Liar? Lying to self makes it easy to lie to others. Let me tell you something. All of us fall short. All of us fall short, and all of us be working on ourselves. So this is why the Prophet Obadiah Ali says, don't take an oath, because you're subject to change at any given moment. So in context, and I always say, if you don't understand context, you don't understand, and it's hard to comprehend the Prophet's teachings. Context is, if you can blatantly lie to yourself, then to lie to someone else would be quite easy. Anybody who have been in that lower vibration know it to be true. And I don't care, before Moorish science, before you got holier than thou, whatever it was, you know good and well if you was in that vibration and you was faking yourself out, to fake someone else out was very easy. You already know, we already been there. Ain't nobody never tell no lie except for me. I was the only one. Oh, some of y'all did too. Well, then you understand. Now, with that being said, now let's raise our thoughts and let's put this in the context of human equality. How can we be equal if you don't teach me right? You can't treat me right if you don't teach me right. There's no way humanly possible that I can trust you to treat me right if you don't teach me right. If you lie to me about things that are supposed to be of divine essence, then how can you treat me right? How can I trust you? I cannot trust you if you can lie to me about something that's predicated upon the divine. It doesn't make sense for me to even give you my trust at that point. Now, we can do a lot of things in life and embellish in all sorts of aspects of life. But when we raise our thoughts, when we start talking about the divine, and you implement a lie in the divine consciously teachings, in the divine teachings consciously, oh no, I got to keep my eye on you. I got to keep my eye on you. I got to make it my business to see if it was a mistake, if it was intentional, if it was a slip of the tongue, or if it was, number one, as I said, intentional. I got to watch you. Because I got to remember that salvation is personal. And if you're teaching me something, I should be able to at some point press cruise control, kick my feet up, and let the electric invisible car driver drive the car. And sometimes I should be comfortable with that. Sometimes I should be comfortable with that. But if I can't do that, then I know good and well that you are not going to have my attention all the time. You know what I mean? You're not going to have my attention. So with that being said, that brings me to human equality. Let's talk about that. What does that have to do with human equality? Has everything to do with human equality. It says that Jesus attends a feast at Bahar, and here he taught human equality. Remember the theme of what I just said. How can you trust a liar? If you lie to yourself, it makes it easy to lie to others. But let's get with this as it relates to human equality, right? It said the fame of Jesus. Jesus was famous. Good goodness of gracious. It said the fame of Jesus spread through all the land. See, this is a problem with us. We don't know things in context. Many of us don't pay attention in context. When it say all the land, it's only speaking about the land of the circumference, which in walking distance for the most part. Because people back then, they didn't have Ubers. They didn't have trains. They didn't have all the exciting transportation that we have. So when it says all the land, it's speaking to a area which can be accessed in quick time. You know what I mean? So it said all the land. Now this was that, because I want to give it context, like it's a community, and it's like a community. It says, and Jesus as a teacher spread through all the land, and people came from near and far. When we look at far, we might be talking about over the West Coast, but remember, most of this is going to be local people. I'm going somewhere with this. Near and far to hear his words of truth. At Bahar, on the sacred river Abrams, he taught for many days. And Ak, what up, Ak? And Ak had that bread, and Ak was caked up. Ak had that money. Yeah, Ak had the money. But check what Ak do, though. Ak was stunting. That's what he was doing. He was stunting. Watch it. It said, and Ak, a wealthy man of Bahar, made a feast in honor of his guests, and he invited everyone to come. He invited everyone to come. And many came, among them thieves, extortioners, and courtesans. And Jesus sat with them and taught. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. He sat with thieves, extortioners, and courtesans. And Jesus sat with them and taught. But they who followed him were much aggrieved, because he sat with thieves and courtesans. And they upbraided him, and they said, Rabboni, master of the wise, this day will be an evil day for you, for news will spread that you consort with courtesans, and men will shun you as an ass. Let me stop right there. If you don't know, a courtesan is a high-dollar prostitute. This ain't no regular prostitute. This ain't a nickel bag prostitute. This ain't a $5 prostitute. No, a courtesan, it relates to a high-dollar prostitute. See, Jesus knew who the people was, and he knew that the people came to him to see him because of the fame. And these people came because they wanted to be healed. They wanted the knowledge. They wanted to be awakened. They only came for Jesus because Jesus was famous. So this is why Jesus came to them, because they came to see him. Now, this is a high-dollar prostitute. This is talking about a thief, extortioners. This is how in the story, Jesus knows that these people are working on life something. Let me back up just a little bit. We building masterminds here in the name of Mazouk Razine now. The reason why Jesus knew these people is because they only came because of his name. You follow me? And when they came because of his name, that would indicate that they wanted to change. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with masterminds, we're able to decipher our situations at all times. And Jesus was able to tell that the people was coming for him because his name was famous and they wanted to change. This is how Jesus could look at the people that was talking crazy and look at the people that actually wanted to change, because they came because of the fame. Now, let me bring it all the way home. It says, and they came, and many came among thieves, extortioners, and courtesans. Let's look at the personality of those that was there. Now, Ak had that bread. Ak was caked up. They came because of Jesus, yet they knew Ak had that money. So thieves show up. Only a certain type of thief can show up to be in that certain type of company. Extortioners. Extortioners, they must know your business in order to extort you. An extortioner cannot extort you if they don't know your business. So this is a different quality of thief. This is a different quality of thief. This is a different quality of a prostitute. This is a different level, if you will. You understand what I'm saying? This is a whole different level. And this is how Jesus was able to decipher who was who. This is how he was able to, Islam. This is how Jesus was able to decipher who was who. Because it's a wealthy man giving a feast. You have an extortioner, and you only can extort if you know people business. You have a courtesan that is a high dollar prostitute that only date upscale clients. And so the thief had to be one of them top-notch thieves. There wasn't no dollar store thief. Wasn't the dollar store thief. This was the real deal. But because they showed up because of the fame of Jesus, Jesus knew that they wanted to be healed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? First, this is the first lesson that I want to break into. We as Moorish Americans, we have to know who really want to be healed. We have to know who really want to hear. We have to know if they coming to hear you or they just coming just to be in the peanut gallery. We have to know. Jesus was able to tell who was there because of wisdom. He was able to tell why they was there because of wisdom. Because these was those that at normal circumstances, they plotting, they scheming. Normal circumstances, but now they come. Remember it says his fame was because of what? Jesus' fame spread through all the land. My bad, I got excited. My bad. It said Jesus' fame spread through all the land. But what fame? What was he famous for? He was famous for being a teacher. He was famous for being a teacher. So that gives the indication that they wanted to be taught. What I'm trying to tell you, 1 second, Islam. Aleem, I need you to go upstairs, please. Bye. Upstairs. No. Islam, pardon me. Upstairs. No, leave that there. Upstairs. Upstairs. You disturbing holy day. Upstairs. Islam. So with that being said, I don't know why he wait till I demonstrate and didn't want to do jumping jacks, but nevertheless, it is what it is. With that being said, his fame spread because he was a teacher. So what I'm telling each and every one of you there that want to teach Moorish science, you have to know who really want it, because who really want it is going to make the bigger difference. They're going to make the bigger difference. You follow what I'm saying? So, now, here we go. Listen to the science. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us amazing lessons, but we need to take these lessons to know how to dispense these lessons to our people to raise this New Jerusalem to come out of heaven. New Jerusalem got to come out of heaven. Our kingdom got to come out of heaven. We got to do this. We can't look at this just as a story, just as a lesson. We got to look at this as a story that can be applied in order to raise our people from the shallow grave, as they like to call it. We need this story so we can apply it. And the thing is that when I look at this, I'm like, how did Jesus know to focus much of his attention on them? How did he know? Because this was the people that would, under normal circumstances, they be trying to tear up the whole party and walk out there with all the goods, lay everybody down in some way, shape, or form. But they came for the express purpose because it was a teacher there. It shows you the eagerness to overcome the lower vibration and the temptation to rob people and take advantage of people by something that they've been doing for long periods of time. So these are the ones that deserve the most attention. Y'all make sense? Raise your hand if you get what I'm saying so I can move on. You understand what I'm saying? So we as teachers, we as those who are sent to uplift fallen humanity, we must recognize those who have the real thirst, if you will. Because many of our people, they claim that they want it, but when the truth is upon them, they will not embrace it. They will shun it. They might get it later. The seed is planted, but sometimes you got to do what Jesus said. You got to dust it off and Oh, it was Jesus or Jay-Z. Anyway, you got to go through the next town. That's what Jesus said. Jay-Z said, get the dirt off your shoulder. Nevertheless, you got to dust it off, pop, and go on to the next town because the seed was planted. But then you got some that actually hear, some that actually really want the knowledge so they can reform themselves. And that should be our focus at the end of the day. That should be our primary focus. With that being said, it says, and they upbraided him. They said, Rabboni, master. You know, Rabboni means master teacher. Rabboni, master. It means master, but it will refer to a master teacher, as people like to use the term. Master of the wise, this day will be an evil day for you. The news will spread that you consort with courtesans, and men will shun you as an ass. Notice they pointed out the courtesan. They didn't point out the thief. At first they did, but in this verse number 6, they point out the courtesan. But why? But why? Because the same reason that the prophet Noble Drew Ali has the sister humanity in the arms. When you go to humanity, humanity has life within them. Humanity, the holy breath. I be playing around in my house. I said, Allah gave me the holy breath. Because when she has entered the world, I call my daughter the holy breath. Because when she has entered the world, you see what I'm saying? And so when he consult with the courtesan, everybody looking like, why would you go to talk to the high-dollar prostitute? Why would you talk to the high-dollar prostitute? This is not looking good. But see, we know that Prophet Noble Drew Ali had humanity in his arms with 1 foot on the land and 1 foot on the rock of the solid foundation. And that's what we have to understand. When we are talking to our people, the most important, unfortunately for us, we may not understand it, but the most important is the humanity of the sister. It is. It just is what it is. It's kind of tough, I'm trying to tell you, because European psychology done messed us up. I'm trying to tell you, I might go crazy tomorrow. Trust me, I might go crazy tomorrow. But nevertheless, the measure is the measure. They came at Jesus because he, although he talked to the thieves, although he talked to the extortioner, he was cornered off talking to the courtesans. There's another lesson in there, because without, what it say? There's how many ways that man to be destroyed? One for him to be produced, and that's through a woman. So we know that in that lesson, that's a very important thing. And that's even for women who are teaching. Even right here, we see more brothers than sisters. That's a part of the plan. That's a part of the plan. I taught this in the temple for quite some time. I said, you notice that whenever they want to destroy a nation, speaking of the Moorish Temple of America, they slander Sister Pearl Drew Ali. Said she had an affair with Claude Green, which was a lie. They slandered Sister Delia Milieu. Said she had an affair with Morris L. That was a lie. They just muddy up the sister's name because the nation can be built by the woman. The man is actually the supporting cast of a nation. I'll just tell you what it is. The man is the supporting cast. The man is the protector. So the nation can be built. The first teacher is the woman. So anyway, to my point, he's with the courtesan, the high-dollar prostitute, trying his best to do the work that he was called to do. And they say they're going to shun you like an asp. They're going to kick you to the curb for talking to the high-dollar prostitute, as if Jesus was on some freaky deakish stuff. You see what I'm talking about? But that's what it is. And so it says, Jesus answered and said, a master never screens himself for the sake of reputation and fame. This applies in all aspects of life. When you are teaching a measure to uplift your people and you are on a hard line of truth, when you are on a hard line of truth, that don't mean everybody is going to accept it. That don't mean everybody going to give you a respectable response, a respectable rebuttal, a respectable dialogue. That don't mean that. They might even call you names. They might even call you everything except for the child of God. Remember you say everything except for the child of God. They might call you everything except child of God. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter. You don't shield yourself from everything. Like, I'm not going to say nothing because they're going to come for me. Let them come if you're about that. But let me tell you something. Before we start spreading the gospel of truth into the public, first we got to implement it within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? See, this is one of the issues that we have as a people. We want to fix everybody else before we fix ourselves. You see what I'm saying? See, with me, I'm still fixing myself, but I'm fixed enough that I can take this car down the road. I got some other parts I got to fix, making no mistake about it. But I'm telling you, they be looking for the kink in my armor. It don't exist. It don't exist. Not perfected yet. The point is that if the kink in my armor is found, I'm going to make a speedy reparation to the utmost of my power. I'm going to ask for forgiveness and keep it moving. See, I'm not going to polish it up. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm out of order. I apologize. And I'm going to keep it moving. So most of the time, people want to polish themselves up. I don't got no problem with saying I was in error. I was wrong. I ain't no problem with it. So when we look at this right here, that's a part of not lying to yourself. If you go wrong, if you do wrong, if you go left, acknowledge it. Apologize to yourself. Pick up the pieces, keep it pushing. And then you can ultimately show people the error that they are in because you have addressed the error that you were in. Makes it easy. But we're talking about this human equality now. Watch this. He says, a master never screams himself for the sake of reputation and fame. These are worthless babbles of the day. They rise and sink like empty bottles on a stream. They are illusions and will pass away. They are the indices to what the thoughtless think. They are noise that people make, and shallow men judge merit by noise. This is why give a round of applause. Give a round of applause. They ain't did nothing, and people clapping and cheering. Yeah, Islam, Islam. Shallow men judge merit by that, by the noise that people make. Shallow people. But our prophet teaches us that Allah and all master men judge men by what they are and not what they seem to be, not by their reputation of fame. So if the courtesan has a reputation of having a high dollar clientele, that's not who she is, that's who she seemed to be. She came to Jesus to hear those teachings because the fame had spread. The thief came to hear Jesus because the fame had spread. So now that person is in their higher self, not in the illusion self, and Jesus can judge the situation by who they are, not who they seem to be. Who they seem to be would not have inspired them to go see the teacher that was famous for being teaching. Only the higher self can motivate a person to go see the teacher who was famous for being teaching. Talk to him, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know what I'm talking about? Only the higher self can motivate and inspire that. So Jesus was speaking to the higher self of the person. And we as master men and women, we need to look at when the higher self is ignited and motivated and inspired. And we got to speak to the higher self. You know what I'm saying? And while you speaking to the higher self of yourself or your brothers or your sisters, what you will find is the lower self outside of yourself will automatically appear. What you doing? What you doing? Why you ain't talking to me? What about me? Remember me? The lower self will jump out on you right around the corner. Hey, remember me? Hey, what about me? But you be speaking to the higher self within yourself or the higher self with whomever you concern yourself with. And every time you do it, here come the lower self. Jesus said, though, the courtesans and thieves are children of my Father Allah. Their souls are just as precious in his sight as yours or the Baric Priests. and they are working out life sums that you have solved, you men who look at them with scorn. Now, I think Jesus is being facetious right here. I think he's being facetious because the next line he says, and some of them have solved even much harder than you have solved. You men who look at them with scorn. And he says it again. You men who look at them with scorn. You know how we do. We'll get facetious on you in a minute, just to underscore a point. So in the first line, he said, 12, it says, and they are working out life sums that they have solved. You men who look at them with scorn. Then he says in 13, and some of them have solved much harder than you have solved. You men who look at them with scorn. I think Jesus being a little bit facetious on them. Saying, yeah, look at you. Look at you. Got a nerve. You got some nerve. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's how we talk. That's how people. That's how we know. That's how we know he more. That's how we know he a Moabite. Europeans don't talk like that. Europeans try to be politically correct. Well, some people have their problems, and when they have their problems, they just solve their problems. Praise God. But the Moabite, though, you men who look at them with scorn. We know that's our brother right there. That's how we do. We got to throw a little bit season on that demonstration. Praise the Lord for that. We got those season on it. Y'all see me do it sometime. I throw a little season on that dirt. People be mad too, because we not used to being ourselves. We not used to being our divine self in our divine space, speaking our divine mind. We not used to that. We always got to sugarcoat instead of season it with the maximums of truth. You hear what I said? The prophet Obadiah said, you take your child and you season their mind with the maximums of truth. In other words, you don't put too much on it. You don't make it too salty. You don't make it too hot. You just season it just right. Like my brother was talking about Big Mama with the pie. You know what I mean? The same thing Big Mama with the dish. She ain't gonna put too much salt or too much season. She just seasons. When you know how to season, good goodness gracious. And that's what I'm saying. We like the sugarcoat, but we don't like the season. So I throw a little bit season on mine. Oh yeah, I throw a meme out there in a minute on you, just to season it just a little bit, just to get the message out. Because we're in a world now where it's visual and it's verbal. It's visual and verbal. And so our eyes begin to digest certain images, and so I become one of them persons where I'm going to put out those images, and then I'm going to put some words to it, and then that's the seasoning, so people can get the maxims of truth. But anyway, it goes back to say on 14, it says, verse 14, it says, yes, they are sinners and confess their guilt, while you are guilty, but are shrewd enough to have a polished coat to cover up your guilt. Suppose you men who scorn the courtesans, these drunkards and these thieves, who know that that you are pure in heart and life, that you are far better than they. Stand forth, that men may know just who you are. The sin, and this is the ultimate teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America. One of them, but this is ultimate. The sin lies in the wish, in the desire, not in the act. Let me tell you something. Many people of different religious persuasions, they are focused on the act. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're supposed to be rewiring our thought process. Because if you can rewire the thought process, the act will never happen. Most people judge things from the act of the manifest, and they don't work on the source. The source is the thought process. And we got to rewire our thought process. And there is no teaching that is emphatic as this. None. I'm telling you. See, I point things out like it is. Now listen. People, because we're not used to doing this. Jesus is comparing a courtesan, a thief, and an extortioner to the level of development of a Baric priest. He's doing a comparison. He's saying they have solved more than you. You Baric priests, and the Baric priests have been in the priesthood all of his life, probably in generations after generation. Yet Jesus is using the comparison analysis. We're scared to use the comparison analysis because we think we're going to lose some friends. But the prophet taught us that a friend gained by flattery. We know what he said that. You want a friend from flattery? Or you want a friend from truth? I would rather have a friend from truth. But he's doing the comparison. He's doing comparative analysis, saying that these are Baric priests. Maybe we don't know the significance of a Baric priest, but this could be generations after generation after generation after generation being in the priesthood. And Jesus saying that the courtesan may have solved more than you. The thief may have solved more than you. The extortioner may have solved more than you. Can you imagine what the Baric priest was feeling? They had on the white robe. The courtesan had on the coochie cutters. She had on the breasts hanging out. She was up there to see Jesus. She was up there with the makeup, with the eyelashes flapping like they wear today. You know how they wear the big eyelashes. She was up there chilling. She was up there chilling, and Jesus said that she have solved more than you in your long robe, in your long gown, and your perfumes, and your oils, and your curled up shoes, and your fezzes, and all. She have solved more than you. That's what I'm talking about. See, when we are able to go to the common people, the regular everyday people, that's when this movement will change. All of these high dollar scholars ain't worth a nickel in my book. I'm just calling a spade a spade. They're not worth a nickel in my book because the people that really need the teachings are being neglected. That is the regular, everyday people that are the worker bees of this nation. And that's who we should be striving to uplift. At all times, we should be striving to uplift them. Anytime we talk to those who think they know and that are arrogant enough to not able to say that they don't know something, we only use them as a sounding board to reach the people that need to be reached. That's it. We use them as a sounding board because that's what Jesus is doing in this chapter. He's using the Baric priests as a sounding board to make a point. Now, one of the lessons that we also got to learn from this, I want you to raise your hand if I'm giving a practical lesson that we need to apply to teach this lesson. I'm talking about in real time. I don't want you to get stuck 2,000 years ago. Do you understand what I'm saying so we can teach this tomorrow? Put your hands up if you can understand. So we can teach this tomorrow. We don't want to just talk about for 2,000 years ago. We want to teach this tomorrow. Now, Jesus taught human equality. How did he teach human equality? Did he have a bunch of books? Did he walk around with a pack mule with a bunch of books? No, he taught human equality by the experience of the reality that was what's happening. He taught human equality by what was happening in real time. He didn't bring out the Old Testament. He didn't bring out the Torah. Let me teach you human equality. You know the prophet Isaiah said. He didn't say that right here. Because guess what? He was with the Baric priests. They wouldn't understood what he was talking about. The same thing with your brother or your sister that never heard of the Moorish Science Temple of America or the teachings of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. They ain't going to understand that old trickery words that you be using. The ancient Canaanite talk. You walking up to Islam. You're not black. Islam. Hey, Mo, you know you're a Mo, right? You know you're a Mo, right? Now, they don't understand that. They don't understand that. Just like you didn't understand it one time. You got to talk to people with common sense. And Jesus was able to talk to them with common sense. He didn't come out there with the teachings of Krishna. He didn't come out there with the teachings of Buddha. He didn't come out there with the teachings of the Torah. You know what? He came out there with the situation that was at hand, and he addressed it in real time. And he didn't care if the Baric priest got mad or not. He told the truth as it was. And you was either going to accept it or reject it. And that's the time that we living in now. We got to tell the truth as it is. That's the bottom line. So how did Jesus teach human equality? He taught it in real time with real situations and real circumstances. And if we don't step up to the plate and teach this thing to our families, teach this thing to our community, teach this thing in the temple, as well as on social media, in real time with real situations, what we doing? What we doing? The prophet said we returned the church and Christianity back to Europeans because it was prepared to them. We got to stop saying that we returned a thing called the church, because in reality, the church made big differences in our community. We got to stop saying that we're returning to church and saying it is one thing, but holding on to the principles is another thing. We keep looking at these stories like we read in the Bible 2,000 years ago. We keep reading these stories like we read in the Quran 1,500 years ago. No, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America is applicable today if you understand it in the proper context. We can use it right now today if it's understood in the proper context. It must be understood in the proper context, because this is a saving power that came from our ancient forefathers through his prophet, and it's to us. It's in our hand. I had to tell a brother today, I said, brother, let me explain something to you. The reason why I go so hard and I show receipts, I said I show receipts because of this. I said we are around few hundred years removed from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the physical flesh right here. We are the only people on the planet Earth, you hear what I said, that I know of, besides them Europeans that they made up some stuff. We are the only people within the Asiatic group, or the so-called black, or whatever you choose to call us, the melanated people. We are the only people, descendants of those who suffered the atrocities of slavery, that can say we know what our prophet looked like. We are the ones that know what our prophet looked like. You know what that means? We shouldn't have to make anything up, because we're not 2,000 years looking for relics. We're not 2,000 years looking for manuscripts. We're not 2,000 years trying to figure it out. It was just yesterday. So there's no reason why we should be lying, trying to make up stories and fables to validate a prophet who was just here. He was just here. And the evidence got to be there. So this is why I'm really, really, really hard on presenting receipts, because we're not that far removed. We're not looking for Prophet Muhammad. No Muslim can tell you what Prophet Muhammad looked like. No Christian can tell you what Jesus looked like. Hey, we can't even tell you what Jesus looked like 2,000 years ago. We may talk about the fiery eyes and the brass and the wool hair. That is not a true description in great detail of what he looked like. We know what Prophet Noble Drew Ali looked like. We know what the lessons say. Why are we making stuff up? It's beyond me. Listen. Even if somebody tried to change a few words of these lessons, guess what? There is a manuscript that still exists with the words laid out as compiled by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. If somebody made copies and they messed the word, you can find the manuscript. We're not that far removed. So there's no reason for someone to intentionally lie to you and to make up stuff and to make up all of these offshoots, concepts that become organizations. They call the Moorish Science Temple of America, this, that, and the third, and the other. That's not human equality. Human equality is you're going to teach someone as you want to be taught. If you're not teaching me right, you're abusing me. You're abusing my trust. You're taking advantage of me. And if you ain't teaching me right out of ignorance and you don't correct it, then why should I give you my attention? At least correct that you was in error. Correct that you was in error. Because if I'm in error, I'm telling you, I'm not going to hesitate. Let me wrap it up and bring it on in. It says, let me see. I lost my page. I got excited. I turned my page. So let me just wrap it up, because I got one more thing I want to say. It says, let's go to 18. It says, deceit you practice every day. You wish for gold, for honor, and fame, just for your selfish selves. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali has taught me to read what's not being said on the other side of what's being said. So when it says you wish for gold, deceit you practice every day, and you wish for gold, for honor, and for fame, just for your selfish selves. That's the lower side of it. The higher side of it, that gold and fame and honor can also be used on a higher level to inspire people to, as prophets say, it takes finance to uplift the nation, to better yourself. You see what I'm saying? So every time I read these lessons, I look at what's being said on one end, and then I look at the other side of the spectrum. So we shouldn't want gold and honor and fame for our selfish selves. But if you got a talent that can make you famous, that you can inspire people, then you should be building on that talent. Especially the younger generation. The younger generation is up next. And they kind of smother their talents because someone said, oh, you like to rap, you shouldn't be rapping, because they be listening to garbage rap. They listen to trash rap. That doesn't mean that all rap is trash. It's just that they sold you the trash rap. And now you want to condemn the young brother that want to be interested in rap. They want to be interested in making beats. They want to be interested in things that's popular right now and going on right now. And the younger generation are upset, and now they go back to destruction. They go back to the streets. And I'm going to tell you off the top, if you get a young rapper that's kicking the right message with the right style, I'm telling you, it can change the whole game. It can change our whole reality. Because we know there's a lot of coins up in that demonstration. There's a lot of coins up in that demonstration. And one thing we lacking more than anything is finance to take the nation to the next level, just for promotion, to push it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why Prophet Noble Ali developed the Moorish guide, so he can be self-promoted, so Moors can be self-promoted. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can find so many ads and papers around Chicago or local newspapers, because they was promoting themselves. All of that stuff costs finance. So my point that I'm saying is that if we are going to be the one to shape this nation the way it's supposed to be shaped under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and by the example of Prophet Noble Ali, then it's time for us to get busy. It's time for us to get busy. You follow me? It's time for us to get busy. Now let me close with this. It says, the man who covets, 19, the man who covets is a thief, and she who lusts is a courtesan. You are none of these, speak out. Because see, Jesus already knew that these people came for the fame of Jesus, but they felt comfortable to come to Ak gathering. Because guess why? Because many of them people probably had rendered some of their money to those services of the courtesans. See, the courtesans already knew that they felt comfortable to show up, not just for the teacher. They felt comfortable to show up because many of them probably had already done business with some of these people, and Jesus could see it. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have right now. Many people will not even challenge. You know what I mean? Many people will not even challenge the truth when it is put before them, because that truth could open out a can of worms and they become exposed for the falsehood and for the lies. And as the Prophet Noble Ali called, the loud professor will scream out, and anybody step up and say that Taharka Bey is lying, because I'm not, but you try to make up something. Now that the Lord Professor and you and your character is going to show up. But just like this, they held their peace. And that's what people need to do. When you ain't right and exact, just hold your peace. They held their peace. You know why they held their peace, right? Because if they would have talked, the courtesan would say, I was with him last week. I was with him too. The extortionist said, yeah, that one paid me for secrets on this one. The thief would have said, that one gave me the keys to this one house. You know what I'm saying? Because they felt comfortable to show up. You know what I'm saying? The courtesan, the thieves, and the extortionists, they was all in their business way before Jesus came. But they came to see the famous teacher. And that's an indication that they wanted some change. And so, it says, and Jesus says, the proof this day against all those who have accused. The pure in heart don't accuse. The vile in heart who want to cover up their guilt with holy smoke of piety or ever loathing drunkards, thieves, and courtesans. In other words, Jesus wisely knew that these people was automatically guilty. Not only did the courtesans and the thieves and the extortioners show up to see the famous teachers because they wanted to be healed, but they was comfortable to show up because they already knew these people, coincidentally. And that's why they held their peace. And it proves that they had some sort of understanding of each other, because ain't nobody want to say nothing else when Jesus accused them of being courtesan, drunkards, and thieves. Of course, they could have said, "No, I'm not." And if they would have said, "No, I'm not," I'm telling you, the one that they accused to be the drunkard, thieves, and courtesans would have exposed them. "Yes, you are. We was drinking yesterday. Oh, yeah, I was with..." You see what I'm saying? And so the wise message of this is being able to decipher who you're around, why they're around, and who's who. And always remember that those who show up, some want to be in the peanut gallery, but some want to be healed. And it's up to you, the Moorish American, the guidance of the nation, to be able to decipher who's who. Don't waste your energy on those who are not ready to receive. Drop a seed, as Sister Robin and Wazook Razine L and the Elder Kenzie Bay do. Drop a seed and let it grow on its own time. Keep it pushing. But there are some there that is ready to be healed, and you just give them the lesson, and they can take it and save themselves. With that being said, I yield the floor to our Grand Sheik, Assistant Grand Sheik Q. Robson L. I got a little bit excited because y'all demonstrated so well, and I hope y'all that didn't demonstrate paid attention to those who demonstrated before me, and take time on your demonstration, prepare a little bit in the mind when you're ready to speak, because each and every one of these speakers tonight deserve high honor, because I was impressed. I got excited. I felt like I was in I was in Grandma Church a little bit. You know what I mean? I got it a little. I thought the organ was going to start playing. Nah, I just playing. But appreciate each and every one of y'all. Let's just keep up the high vibration, uplift our family to the best of our ability. I'm telling you, it's a tough job. We all messed up. As Sister Robin would say, we all fall in humanity. We all fall in humanity. But do the best that you can do, and I'm sure Allah is pleased. Islam. With that being said, I yield the floor to our Grand Sheik.
Islam, Grand Sheik. That was our Grand Sheik and Chairman T. Johnson Bay, the miner. Every time we go deep, you go deeper.
I did.
Yeah, you went deep.
You went
deep.
Deep.
Too deep, Grand Sheik.
I went all the way down there.
Yeah.
The oil come up.
Man, when I was digging, you was already down there already.
Man, stop it, man. The fame is spread through all the land. Here we go. But no, man, listen, another thing, man, I want everybody to know, have fun with your Islamism. Be yourself. I'm telling you, don't be all stiff with your Islamism. Be your personality. This is my personality. Real talk. When y'all come to convention, most likely my mama gonna be there. My mama watching tonight. That y'all can, everybody who met my mama, this is my personality. Always be yourself. I'm telling you, and this thing gonna unfold. Good goodness and gracious. Y'all ever been around people you know good and well that ain't the person that's every day, all day? For all the new members that have joined, each and every one of us in here, real talk, I can tell you that when we have met in person or people demonstrate over this medium, they come straight from their real self. And we witnessed that tonight, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So anybody who's new to our organization, always practice to be your real self. Look, my mother just put a comment in the comment section. Mom is watching. But this is the real me, family. And I want you to be the real you because it will unfold when you're true to yourself. To thyself be true. And it's easy to be truthful to everybody else. Islam. And there go my baby. Islam, brother Q Robson, Rabia sitting up there waving at the camera. Islam, family.
Islam, Grand Sheik. So yeah, the Grand Sheik was teaching on how, you know, if a person can't treat you right, they can't teach you right, consciously, right? Man, so
peace and love, family. Any of y'all that are watching tonight, you're welcome to join us. We do this every Friday. Friday from 7:30 till 9:30 is our Holy Day meeting. And if you don't know, what we do is we go over the chapter of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America for that cycle. In other words, for that week, we dive into it. We have speakers. We have those who experience these teachings in real time, those that are just learning them, and they speak and give up their understanding of how it can change us into better people. And then on Sunday, we have our Guidance of the Nations class. Our Guidance of the Nation class, normally, I take a bunch of questions and I turn those questions into a class because it seems to me that we've been miseducated on the teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali. And so I always make a segment, for the most part, to take questions to teach off of those questions with receipts. If you ever seen me talk about Moorish science, on the internet, and I'm always showing receipts. I'm showing receipts. Well, that's how I try to do our Guidance of the Nations class. And I use elements of the questionnaire to go deep into the questionnaire so we can get the essence of what those teachings are all about as it relates to our Quran and as it relates to history. And then on Wednesday, we have our Building Masterminds class taught by our National Assistant Grand Sheik, Marzouk Razine El. And coming soon, we're going to have Guidance of the Nation leadership class, which will happen during the middle of the week, where we teach how to operate a temple, how to teach the lessons effectively, how to teach them with your own personality and not nobody else's personality. And we're growing daily. We're growing daily. So anybody that wants to join, anybody interested in developing themselves to open a temple in your neighborhood, in your community, and always remember that a temple is a place that is an economic base, is a civic place, it's a spiritual place, and most importantly, it's for the community. So you have to be a community person and community driven. But anyway, you can reach us at joinnobletemples@gmail.com. Send an inquiry and say that you would like to join. But let me tell you, it ain't for everybody. It's only for those who are ready to work and put some work in to change this situation that we find ourselves in. With that being said, peace and love, family. I got to get back in this meeting. Peace and love.